The huge metal ship called Eternal Harmony floated in the darkness of space. Its blue lights blinked against the black backdrop of stars. Inside the ship, on the main bridge, Captain June sat in his command chair. He was tall with sharp features and dark eyes that missed nothing. His gray uniform was clean and perfectly pressed, showing his rank with simple silver marks on the collar. The bridge was quiet. The crew worked at their stations, checking screens and pressing buttons. The soft hum of the ship's engines was the only sound until a loud beep cut through the silence. "Captain," said Communications Officer Tai Yong, turning from his station, "we're getting a distress call. It's from Mining Outpost K-12 in the Koro system." Captain June straightened in his chair. "Put it on the main screen." The large screen at the front of the bridge flickered to life. The image was broken and fuzzy, but they could see a small room with flashing red lights. A face appeared, scared and dirty. "This is Mining Outpost K-12. We need help." "The asteroid shifted and hit our main power core. Life support is failing. We have 15 people here, including our human representative. Please send help right away." The message broke up, leaving only static on the screen. "Try to get them back," ordered June. Taeyong's fingers moved quickly over his panel. "I can't, sir. The signal is gone." Captain June stood up and walked to the navigation station. "How far is the Koro system from our position?" "About 6 hours at top speed," answered Navigator Sujin, a small woman with quick hands and quicker eyes. "Set course immediately," June ordered. He turned to Taeyong. "Contact Alliance Command. Tell them about the distress call and that we're responding." "Yes, Captain." June returned to his chair, his mind already planning the rescue mission. Mining Outpost K-12 was one of the Alliance's remote operations, extracting valuable minerals from asteroids. It was staffed by various species from across the Galactic Alliance, but one detail from the message stood out to him. They had mentioned a human. 20 minutes later, Taeyong looked up from his station again. "Captain, incoming transmission from Alliance Command." June nodded. On screen, the face of Admiral Mina appeared. She was older than June, with gray hair pulled back tightly and sharp, intelligent eyes. "Captain June, we received your message about Mining Outpost K-12, she said. "Your mission is to extract all personnel as quickly as possible." "Yes, Admiral, we're already en route. There's something else you should know," Admiral Mina continued, her expression growing more serious. "The outpost has a human diplomat named Hyun. The human governments are very concerned about their safety. This human must be retrieved safely." June nodded. "Understood, Admiral. Any specific concerns we should be aware of?" "Just be cautious, Captain. Humans have a reputation. Their biochemistry is unusual. They're new to the Alliance, and not all ships are equipped to handle them safely. We'll take all necessary precautions." After the transmission ended, June sat back in his chair. He had never met a human before. Their species had joined the Galactic Alliance only 2 years ago, and they rarely traveled this far from their home system. But he had heard stories about them. According to these stories, humans were walking safety hazards on most Alliance vessels. They needed more oxygen than most species. Their bodies produced unusual amounts of heat. Their sweat contained salt compounds that could damage sensitive equipment. Some species even claimed to experience strange mental effects from being too close to humans. "Captain," said a voice from behind him. June turned to see Chief Medical Officer Do-hyun standing there. Do-hyun was shorter than June, with round glasses and a concerned expression. "Doctor, what can I do for you?" asked June. "I heard about our mission to rescue the mining outpost," said Do-hyun. "And about the human. I've been reviewing their biological profiles from the Alliance database. And, sir, humans are very different from any species in the Alliance. Their normal body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to trigger our ship's fire detection systems." June raised his eyebrows. "That hot? Are you sure?" "Yes, Captain. And that's just one issue. Their bodies contain large amounts of water. They breathe out carbon dioxide at levels that would be toxic to some crew members. They need special food and can eat things that would poison other species. What do you suggest, Doctor?" We need to prepare a special containment area for the human, adjusted air filters, heat-resistant materials, and isolated environmental controls. And we should warn the crew before bringing the human aboard. June nodded slowly. Make the necessary adjustments, Doctor. I don't want any incidents. Right away, Captain. As Do-yoon left the bridge, June turned to look at the main screen, now showing their course to the Koros system. His ship had carried many different alien species before, but never a human. He wondered what this Hyun would be like. Were the stories true? Were humans really as dangerous as everyone said? Captain, called out Science Officer Ji-hee from her station. I've been reviewing the data about mining outpost K-12. It's built into a large asteroid approximately 20 kilometers in diameter. The outpost itself is small, housing only about 15 workers and researchers. What about their rescue capabilities? Asked June. They have 2 small emergency pods, but according to their last report, one was damaged during a meteor shower 3 months ago. I don't know if it was ever repaired, so they might not be able to evacuate everyone, June said grimly. That's correct, sir. June turned to Security Chief Min-jae, a tall, muscular man who always looked ready for a fight. Prepare a rescue team. We'll need to send shuttles to the outpost. Yes, Captain. How many teams? 2 shuttles, 4 security officers on each, and make sure they have heat-resistant gear. Min-jae looked confused. Heat-resistant gear, sir? For the human, Chief. Dr. Do-hyun tells me they run hot. Throughout the ship, word spread quickly about their unusual rescue mission. By the time they were 2 hours away from the Koros system, rumors were flying through the crew. Some said humans could spit acid. Others claimed they could see through walls or lift 10 times their weight. The more experienced crew members dismissed these tales, but everyone was curious. In his personal quarters, Captain June read everything in the ship's database about humans. Their home planet, Earth, was described as a death world by Alliance standards. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, dangerous radiation levels from their sun, and countless toxic and predatory life forms. Somehow, humans had evolved and thrived in this environment. As the Eternal Harmony sped toward the mining outpost, June couldn't help but wonder what kind of person could survive on such a planet, and what kind of problems they might bring to his ship. Little did he know what incident truly awaited them. The mining outpost was in chaos when the Eternal Harmony arrived. A damaged asteroid had knocked out critical life support systems, and the remaining atmosphere was rapidly venting into space. Scanning for life forms, reported Science Officer Ji-hee. I'm detecting 15 Alliance signatures in the main habitat section and, wait, there's an anomalous reading in the lower engineering bay. It's giving off heat signatures that our sensors are registering as a Class 2 fire. Security. Chief Min-jae frowned. A fire in engineering during a catastrophic failure? That's not a coincidence. The reading is moving, Ji-hee continued, her antenna twitching with confusion. Whatever it is, it's mobile and heading toward the evacuation point. Captain June made the connection immediately. That's not a fire. That's our human. When the rescue shuttles returned, 14 shaken Alliance citizens of various species were quickly processed through medical. The 15th was a young Lanari scientist named Suho, who appeared unusually agitated. The human, Suho kept repeating. The human stayed behind to manually override the coolant systems, said something about buying us time. The temperature in there is lethal to all known sentient life. Just then, the bridge communications panel lit up. Captain, came Taeyong's startled voice, the human is requesting permission to board, directly through the exterior maintenance airlock, without a ship. That's impossible, Min-jae stated flatly. Nothing could survive. Permission granted, June interrupted. Dr. Do-hyun, meet me at airlock 7 with thermal protection gear. When Captain June and Dr. Do-hyun arrived at the airlock, alarms were already blaring. The ship's automated systems had detected an extreme thermal anomaly attempting to enter the vessel. Override fire suppression, ordered June, and disable proximity alarms in this section. Through the reinforced viewport, they observed as a figure in a partially melted environmental suit pushed through the airlock. When the inner door finally opened, a wave of heat rolled out that made even the captain step back. The human removed their helmet, revealing a face sheened with moisture and bright eyes that reflected the emergency lighting in an almost predatory manner. This was Hyun, the human diplomat. "Thanks for the pickup," Hyun said casually, apparently unaware of the chaos their mere presence was causing. "Sorry about the suit. Had to cut through some wreckage to reach the coolant regulators." "You cut through wreckage?" Do-hyun asked, medical scanner raised and showing readings that should have indicated a dying patient. "Yeah, found a plasma cutter in the workshop. The handle melted a bit, but it did the job." The human gestured to a melted tool still attached to their suit. "Anyway, is everyone else okay?" As they escorted Hyun to a specially prepared containment suite, the ship's systems continued to struggle with the human's presence. 3 separate fire alarms activated along their route, and a maintenance bot mistakenly deployed flame retardant when Hyun touched a wall panel. In the medical bay, Dr. Do-hyun ran more comprehensive scans while Hyun patiently explained their biology. "Your core temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, Do-hyun noted with disbelief. "That's hot enough to denature proteins in most Alliance species." Hyun shrugged. "It's on the lower end of normal for humans, actually. I run a bit cool." When Suho was brought in to thank the human who had saved his life, the young Lanari froze at the doorway. "You went back into the coolant chamber?" he asked incredulously. "The radiation levels alone would have—" "Oh, that?" Hyun waved dismissively. "Humans have pretty good radiation resistance compared to most species. Something about our cellular repair mechanisms. We evolved on a planet with all kinds of environmental hazards." Captain June observed this exchange with growing fascination. Alliance protocols had classified humans as dangerous, fragile diplomatic passengers requiring special handling. The reality appearing before him suggested something far more resilient and potentially valuable. The journey back to Alliance space was not going as smoothly as Captain June had hoped. Word had spread throughout the ship about their unusual passenger, and crew members were either fascinated or terrified by the human's presence. "Captain, we have a situation," Security Chief Minji reported 3 cycles into their return journey. "The human has escaped containment." "Escaped?" June questioned. "Was force used?" "No, sir. They apparently talked their way past the guards and are now in the ship's arboretum, examining the plant specimens." When June arrived at the arboretum, he found Hyun engaged in animated conversation with the ship's botanist, Jiwoo, who appeared equally fascinated and alarmed. "Captain," exclaimed Hyun upon seeing June, "your botanist has been showing me the most extraordinary specimens. Did you know that the flowering Shindari vine shares structural similarities with Earth's carnivorous plants?" Jiwoo nodded enthusiastically. "The human has been telling me about Earth botany. Their world contains plants that can eat animals, and fungi that can control insect behavior." "I apologize for leaving my quarters," Hyun added, noticing the captain's stern expression. "But I'm a diplomat, not a prisoner, and the containment suite's environmental settings were giving me a rash." "A rash?" Do-hyun had arrived behind the captain. "Yes, your standard atmosphere is too dry for human comfort. We're mostly water, you know." This casual revelation sent Do-hyun into a frenzy of medical recalculations. Later that day, an emergency meeting of senior officers was convened to discuss their increasingly problematic passenger. "The human's biochemistry is unlike anything in our database," Do-hyun explained. "They consume what should be toxic levels of sodium, require constant hydration, exhale carbon dioxide at alarming rates, and their blood contains iron rather than copper." "Is the human a threat?" asked Minjae bluntly. "Not intentionally," Jiwoo interjected. "But they touch everything. They examined a poisonous Tyrillian leaf with their bare hands. When I warned them, they just said human skin is mostly impermeable to the toxin." Captain June considered these reports carefully. "We need to adapt. This human saved the lives of Alliance citizens using abilities we clearly don't understand. That deserves our respect, not our fear." His decision was made easier when an urgent transmission arrived from Alliance headquarters. The human governments had been monitoring Hyun's vital signs remotely and were expressing diplomatic concern about their containment aboard an Alliance vessel. "This is now an official diplomatic matter," June informed his crew. "We will accommodate human diplomat Hyun appropriately for the remainder of our journey." The Eternal Harmony docked at Alliance Central Station exactly 14 cycles after the mining outpost rescue. News of their human passenger had preceded them, and a delegation of high-ranking officials waited at the arrival terminal, along with a contingent of human representatives. As the airlock opened, ship sensors once again detected what they registered as a fire, but this time, it was 5 humans standing in the reception area, their body heat collectively triggering the station's emergency systems. Captain June watched as Hyun greeted their fellow humans with a peculiar physical contact ritual involving the pressing together of hands. Alliance officials maintained a respectful distance, their protective gear subtle but obvious to the trained eye. "Captain June," Admiral Mina approached. "Your reports about the humans' actions at the mining outpost have caused quite a stir. The Alliance Security Council is re-evaluating our classification of humans as diplomatic passengers." "I would strongly recommend that, Admiral," June replied. Human diplomat Hyun demonstrated capabilities that would be valuable on any deep space mission. "Indeed. Which is why we're proposing a new initiative, integrated crews including human personnel on Alliance vessels." June couldn't hide his surprise. "That would require significant modifications to our life support systems." Already in progress, the Admiral gestured to where Engineering Chief Woo Jin was deep in conversation with 2 human technicians. "Their engineers are helping us develop hybrid environmental systems that can accommodate multiple species, including humans." Over the following months, Alliance understanding of humans underwent a radical transformation. What had once been viewed as dangerous biological anomalies, their heat production, their strength in higher gravity environments, their resistance to radiation and certain toxins, were now recognized as evolutionary adaptations that complemented the different strengths of Alliance species. 6 cycles later, Captain June stood on the bridge of the newly refitted Eternal Harmony, preparing for its maiden voyage as the first truly integrated Alliance human vessel. Beside him stood his new first officer, Hyun, now commissioned as a full Alliance officer. "Course laid in, Captain," reported Navigator Taeyong. "Environmental systems balanced for all crew species," added the new human environmental specialist, Junho. June nodded. "Begin pre-launch sequence." As the ship hummed to life around them, June turned to his human first officer. "The fire suppression systems no longer activate when you enter the bridge. I consider that progress." Hyun smiled. "Small steps, Captain. Though I must say, watching your security team's faces when they realized humans can survive in vacuum for nearly 2 minutes without permanent damage was quite satisfying." "The Alliance has existed for 3,000 years, June mused. "Yet in less than 1 cycle, humans have changed how we think about space exploration and our own biological limitations." "That's humanity for you," Hyun replied. "We've been defying limitations since we first looked up at the stars." As the Eternal Harmony pulled away from the station, its engines glowing with a new efficiency developed by human and Alliance engineers. Working together, the ship's automated log recorded a final entry in Captain June's voice. They reported a fire on deck when the first human came aboard. Now, that fire has spread throughout the Alliance, not as destruction, but as a catalyst for change. Perhaps what we needed all along was a little human warmth.